All right, let's take a look at the scheduling queue for new candidates coming in and finding the right recruiting coordinators to schedule both remote and on-site interviews. So what you'll do as a recruiter or a hiring manager is you'll come in here and add a new candidate. Candidate who's visiting us is Jessie. She's coming in for a round one interview into San Francisco. And now you can see once I select these two, this auto-assign find coordinator button comes up. Now this is where a lot of the magic of the doc exists, and we'll dig into exactly how it works. But all we have to do is press this button and it'll find the right coordinator based off of the interview stage and the location for the candidate coming on site here. So let's auto-assign this. Find coordinator, John. Awesome. This probably wouldn't happen because the hiring manager wouldn't be the coordinator, but in this example, let's just pretend. So let's do that again. Jane is coming. Now let's do a second round interview, and she's going to be coming into our Denver office. Same thing, the auto assign button to find the coordinator, does a little magic, looks on the back end, and finds Jake as the next coordinator. Awesome, it's now assigned into Jake's queue for him to work on it. So how the heck does this happen, this auto assign button? So what it's doing is taking a look at the coordinators table. And for first round interviews, you can write this little magic into Coda, like, hey, can you find me the coordinator who's available and find the most available coordinator. So what we're looking at here is those who have been assigned different candidates this week. The most available for round one in this case would be Shelby, because no one's been assigned to her this week. And this little magic formula does just that. It finds that Shelby is the most available coordinator. So if we were to go back here, add a new candidate for round one, doesn't matter which location, we find the coordinator. Oh my gosh, magic. Coda's already finding that on the back end for us. Now where it gets a little trickier is for on-site coordination, finding the best candidate in this case. So I'll go to the settings of that button and I'll show you what that looks like. In this case, it's basically saying if it's the initial round one, then take a look at who's next up for round one. In that case, it's Shelby. If it's round two, then please find me the coordinator who happens to be at the location that the candidate's coming to visit. And let's do some other checks to make sure that they're free. So that's how the magic works on that end. When I click the auto assign button for round two, it's matching the location, and again, kind of looks at this is, are they in office? Have they not hit their weekly limit? And who's been assigned most this week? So for example, Shelby and I are both in the Phoenix locations. If I were to select Phoenix, it would go to me because I'm one above Shelby in this case. Round two, Phoenix, let's do a little magic. Awesome, got assigned to me. So what does that look like for the coordinators now that it's dropped into each of the coordinator queues? So we can go here to the new folder. And for me, I like to look at things like this. You can see the folks coming in, the hiring manager, some information about the candidate. When I've figured out who's going to interview this candidate, I can come over here and click scheduled. And there's a little magic that happens. When I click the schedule button, it is putting the completed time is now. That's really important for reporting on the back end, and then changes the status automatically to scheduled. Now, a few others, like Shelby, likes to see things a little bit differently. She likes to come in here and take the pending or the open and then move them along in a Kanban. So you can do just the same. And it's actually the same type of view that I was looking at here, just a different way to look at it. So we have these things called displays, which allow you to change the display of any given table. I prefer the table view to click a button. Shelby prefers the card view to drag and drop. There's a lot of different ways to visualize this base data. And then lastly, as a team, we like to see Well, who's scheduling the most candidates? And in this case, I'm doing all time, but you might want to, at the end of the week, just look at the past 7 days or just this week to see who's scheduling the most. And maybe we want the number version of that as well as the turnaround time. So all of this is being connected back to some of the base coordinator view tables that we were looking at before, just a different way to visualize it. So hopefully this was a good introduction for how a recruiting coordination team, a recruiting team in general, can use Coda to help with the scheduling of candidates. Thanks.